How did you get into the industry?
So I was 19, and my best friend, who I've known since the second grade, she had, I think she needed money, and she had like met up with a manager or whatever, um, and he had booked her a couple scenes with Mofa. Can I say names?
Yeah, you can say name. Who cares?
Okay, Mofos, which is a pretty big amateur company. And I was working at Sizzler at the time. I didn't have any money. I was
Sizzler's a restaurant?
Yeah. I was very much a slut.
Respect.
I kind of like knew I was even considering like stripping. I like the idea of being a sex symbol. So when I found out like the money that she was making, I genuinely liked the idea of, getting laid and getting paid at the same time.
I mean, it sounds good to me, Like,
yeah.
There are worse jobs.
There are worse
jobs. You could dig ditches.
Yeah.
Or be a YouTuber.
I got into it for the right reason.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, that sounds like a very like healthy reason to get into it.
Yeah.
Was it at all difficult or unusual? Was there anything that kind of surprised you when you first started getting into the industry, or?
I mean, I had some good experiences and I had some bad experiences. I think that you see a lot of the darker sides of the industry in more of the amateur stuff before you reach the bigger companies. And then once you kind of get a name for yourself, you don't see so much of that. You're respected and you have a lot of say in what goes on, but you get taken advantage of a little bit at the beginning.
I would imagine that, especially women that are just trying to break into the scene or that are amateur, like they must be ripped off, underpaid.
And not all companies are great, Some of them are wonderful and they treat us amazing, but there are kind of lower end companies that
really don't respect the talent.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I guess it's very important that there are like people in the right mindset behind the cameras, like for those beginner kind of like amateur shoots, because you can imagine that. I don't know. I could very easily see there being a lot of power tripping going on, especially with like men in the industry.
As
like
far as
exploiting and things like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
What was the reaction of the people in your life when you decided to get into this line of work? What was that like?
I mean, to be honest, pretty good. Yeah. My mother at the time. My mother's very open-minded. She's really wild. She didn't like it at first. But I told her, I'm going to do it whether you like it or not. I'm an adult. And then after she saw that I was making a lot of money and I was having fun and, I was building a career out of it, she became my number one supporter, really. Right.
Were her reasons at the beginning not liking it, was it more for like your safety kind of thing? Or was it because it's like, porn is, perhaps stigmatized?
She looked at it, stigmatized. She kind of looked at it. She's like, oh, it's kind of like prostitution. She just didn't really want that for me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about like sort of the public relationship with sex work in general and how it's perhaps developed since you began in the industry? Do you think it's gotten a lot better in terms of the general, opinion on things?
I think it's getting a lot better.
Yeah,
I truly do. I think it's on its way to being a lot more mainstream. I think everybody's accepting it a lot more.
Yeah, no, there seems to be just a lot more. I don't know if respect is the right word, but
sex positive. Maybe?
Yeah, everyone seems to be a lot more sex positive and just kind of conscious about like the way things work, and there's less. I think the internet's definitely helped that as well, because there's just so much discussion everywhere. It's kind of impossible to
so much porn
porn. I mean, the internet was almost invented for porn, like in the first place. Like
absolutely not.
Well, no, I mean,
it was invented for the military.
I'm exaggerating,
but no, it's like 75% of everything that's online is pornography.
Yeah, I'm
in
just
some
exaggerating.
way, shape, or form.
At the beginning, porn was very much like the main thing that was.
All right, guys, fuck these magazines. We're inventing a whole new thing.